but a wound on the conscience of humanity. I commend Ghana for helping the world remember, acknowledge, and stand on the side of justice. And former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was responding to the post put up by Ghana MFA, which he titled "History Made at the United Nations," and this was dated March 25, yesterday precisely. And of course, netizens responded to the post that the African Union put up. This is Chukuru Do Aldrub, and he says 95% plus of Africans in the transatlantic slave trade were captured and enslaved by other Africans via wars, raids, or punishment, then sold to Europeans at coastal forts. Direct European inland captures were rare due to disease and logistics. They bought most from African traders and kings. Rajulorian says Ghana and the historical kingdoms like the Ashanti Empire that operated in the region were major players in selling captives to European traders for centuries. Modern Ghana's government has never acknowledged any financial or material liability for that role, let alone paid a single credit, acre, or apology token to the victims or their descendants. It was the British that ended the trade starting in 1833. Mona Jama says, thank you for sharing. Slavery is not obsolete yet, and humanity needs to wage a dedicated and relentless war against it. In fact, according to Mona Jama, slavery is an ongoing phenomenon. It's not over yet, and I think I agree, because I think this hydra-headed monster has metamorphosed into various forms of subjectivity, if I might say. You know, I'll have my guests jump on this one in a short while as we continue to dissect this hashtag. It is hashtag slave trade. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Welcome to Golden Tulip, where every stay is a celebration of comfort and style. Discover beautifully designed rooms crafted for your relaxation and peace of mind. Savor delicious, expertly prepared meals at our exceptional restaurants. Relax and socialize at our elegant lounge bar. Refresh yourself at the vibrant pool bar and enjoy a soothing swim in our sparkling pool. Planning something special? Our spacious and sophisticated hall provides the perfect setting for weddings, conferences, and memorable events. Whether for business or leisure, we deliver excellence with unmatched hospitality. Comfort, class, premium experience. Book today and elevate your hospitality experience. Airport Golden Tulip. Stay golden. Live golden.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello, peeps. My name is Yomi E. Adejimo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stacey Benjamin, and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports, and entertainment? You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us, and you deserve to be killed. Scrap chat. Don't be killed, but watch it, or I'll find you, and I want you.
And you are locked on.
Welcome back, everyone. It is hashtag right here on VOP TV. Right now, I'm being joined by Adeniyi Ifetayo. He is the publisher, Megastar Magazine. Adeniyi, it's such a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to join you, but you're going to give me like 30 seconds.
Okay, 20 seconds. All right, 20 seconds.
Let me just get seated. Just 30 seconds.
All right, 20 seconds. We are counting down to 20 seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, we've already introduced our first hashtag, which is hashtag slave trade. Adeniyi Ifetayo happens to know much about this topic because he's been following the story with the Senate, of course. So he's going to be giving us some insider information as we count down to 30 seconds for him to get settled as we dissect hashtag slave trade. Now, if you just joined, this hashtag is about the fact that the United Nations just declared that slave trade is the gravest criminality against humanity. It's the gravest crime against humanity. And of course, Ghana championed this cause, supported by the African Union. But Nigeria is in on it as well, with Senator Ned Nwoko smack dab in the middle. In a short while, we'll have Adeniyi Ifetayo tell us how Senator Ned Nwoko is part of this whole fight against slave trade. If you remember, slave trade was such a heinous crime against, Africans, really, and not just Africans alone, humanity at large. When it raged on and on, unabated, you had slave masters selling human beings for just a mirror or a mat or some drinks, vodka or something. It was just mind-boggling. And like some netizens are saying, this slave trade actually has not ended, but has disguised itself, in some other form in Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. We're going to be talking about all of this as Adeniyi joins us. Adeniyi, are you ready for us now? All right.
Yes, I'm ready. Good evening. Thank you for... Yes, I'm ready. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. I hear you. So let's talk about what has just happened.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about what has just happened. The United Nations has declared a slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, as the gravest crime against humanity. Let's talk about that for starters before you walk us through how Senator Ned Nwoko is tied up in this whole matter.
Yes, I would say it's a victory for Africans. It's a victory, whether Black American, wherever you are. And just like one of the netizens said in one of the comments that you read, that even most of the population or some of the population in France, they are made out of Africans. So that's to show the grave injustice that have been done. But I will say that for a long time, United Nations has stood their ground to show that they have truth and they can bite. So it's a victory for Africans. I just want to know how they are going to do the reparation, a form of compensation that you can't just say, yes, we know our forefather, our great-grandfather, they did something that was wrong and we are sorry, and that ends it. So you must also go forward to say, for that thing which they have done, to just to show that we are sincerely sorry, A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, and to do great great grandchildren or the African continent, regardless of those who have been affected, as at the time. And just like also we know that there's what they call modern slavery, whether it come in a form of lottery, in a form of promising job abroad, and where you ended up, they collect your passports, and you ended up being uh, house help. I'm not saying I'm not looking down on any job. Whatever put food on your table, we shouldn't be ashamed of it. But when it comes to a way to lure some of the African uh, future into form of slavery in the form of a promising job, I'm sure maybe you're aware of what is going on between Ukraine and Russia, where Russia have been accused, offering some Africans, even Nigeria were involved, that they promised them job, free visa, free flight ticket. But when you get there, you'll be asked to join the people on the front line, and sometimes they tie explosive around them. If you refuse, it will be detonated. So you must fight for them. So those are the issues that still need to be called for conversation. But this one they have done. And also, it's not just Ghana, because don't let us, yes, they play their role. I remember vividly the Chairman Senate Committee on Reparation and Repatriation, Senator Prince Ned Nwoko, last year wrote a letter to British Embassy and some other embassies and their High Commissioner saying, look, there must be a form of compensation for Africa. There must be a form of reparation for Africa for what your great-great-great-grandfather has done in form of slave trade. So, like they said, a drop of water makes mighty ocean. Senator Ned has done his bit. John Mahama has done his bit, and now the victory is for Africa.
Very well said. You said something earlier on that you don't want to look down on any kind of profession, and I appreciate your diplomacy. But there's such a thing called trafficking in persons right now. That's another form of slave trade, right? I mean, we've heard how...
Yes.
Yeah, we've heard how young ladies, how will I say it? They're deceived into traveling abroad, and you have them sleeping with mammals, not even humans, doing heinous things that they would never, ever think of doing in order to survive and all of that. You hear how madams would take them outside the country, seize their passport, have them take some oaths, and then have them starve, or you threaten them with starvation and have them not have any purchasing power or money to come back home and all. That's another form of slave trade. And NAPTIP, NAPTIP is at the forefront of, ending that in Nigeria. How do you think that fight has gone so far, or how well so far?
Well, it's just a pity that sometimes, especially, let me come back home now, Nigeria, that our government, they hardly show interest in what to affect their citizens abroad. It's only when it has to do with death of somebody that that's when they want to tie, or there's a war, that's when they want to rise up and say, oh, we want our children to come back. We've had so many cases that people who have sent SOS that, yes, I was told that I will be given a job. I was told that I'm just going to be paying in dollars, and before you know it, they subjected them, especially our females, ladies, subjected them to all form of heinous crime, prostitution. Because when they see their passport, these are the things that I'm sure the Nigerian diaspora, they are trying their bit, but they are not doing enough. Because if you know how many Nigerians are living in a particular country at the time, there should be a channel where they can reach out. But it's just a pity that if it doesn't affect them, it has not become a global issue. They don't pay attention to such things. So I agree with you. There's a form of slave trade in form of asking some of our offering them white collar job in disguise and say when you get there, you'll be paid so amount of money, They didn't remit money back at home. I'm sure you remember the case of our former deputy senate president and a boy, I've forgotten the boy's name, who was told that he's just to come and work or be like an house help. And when they got to UK, it was, it got to a point that it was done on him that they want to do a heart, is it heart transplant or kidney transplant? But thank God, because somehow the guy approached the police, the young boy approached the police, and they swung into action. I'm sure if you are to be in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, some of those cases will have been swept under the carpet. And you see that justice prevailed.
Yeah.
That even the deputy senate president do the time, even the wife and all of that. So there's nothing that can be justified for any form of slave trade. Nothing at all.
And the case you just alluded to is that of organ harvesting involving Senator Ike Ekweremadu and his wife, right? Yeah, so my question to you before we wrap this up is that, do you think there should be some sort of penalty for culprits? And if your answer is yes, how heavy should it be to serve as a deterrent, actually?
Yes, I would say they should do life in jail, because you can't determine an individual destiny. There should be a form of heavy punishment. That's why they say where there's no law, there's no crime. If our government, especially Nigeria, they are not taking it seriously, they are just paying a lip service towards our constitution or the rule of law, people will continue to do it. But when they see that if you are caught in this act, you are doing life in prison, whatever form of proceed that you have embezzled or you have gotten through form of that slave trade or whatever it is, in whatever form or disguise, will be confiscated, or seized. Those are the things that I think our government should not just. We can put heavy penalty. Are they really implementing it? We can have a beautiful law. We can have a beautiful penalty that can be, met down to those who commit such crime. But the question is, are they being implemented? Will there not be that? Because sometimes when you look at the way things are being done, you think that we have two constitutions. One for the rich and who are connected, and one for the masses who does not have anybody. So I'm in support that there should be heavy penalty and not just pay lip service to it, and it should be that have been found, committing this heinous crime.
What I hear you say is that enforcement is the issue, that there must be enforcement to the T if this monster is to be nipped in the bud. Thank you so much, Adeni. It's safe for us to leave that particular hashtag. Of course, as events unfold, we'll keep our people, or the people, and the viewer posted. Let's move on to something else that's trending right now, and it's still connected to Senator Ned Nwoko, who is also championing this cause. I'm talking about the creation of Anyoma State. Somehow, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, is smack dab in the middle of this one this time around. The Cable has this, Trending Explain has this. Cable says, Akpabio, Anyoma State. So this is Senate President Akpabio saying Anyoma State will be created with Asaba as its capital. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has reaffirmed legislative and political backing for the creation of Anyoma State. Akpabio spoke on Wednesday while addressing party members at the South-South Zonal Congress of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Asaba, Delta State. The Senate President said the President Bola Tinubu administration, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, remains committed to the initiative. Akpabio also said Warri would serve as the capital of the new Delta State if Anyoma is created. Now, Trending Explained is going to be giving us more meat to this story. So let's take a look at it now. It is hashtag Anyoma State. Trending Explained says Anyoma State is trending because Ned Nwoko is close to getting his wish as Senate President Godswill Akpabio declares backing for Anyoma. Asaba will be capital of the state as Warri becomes capital of Delta State. However, he didn't guarantee an imminent creation. He only assured Senate support, not reps or full NAS. Akpabio stated that Anyoma will be another APC state in the southeastern region, as more states mean more development, but only if NAS reach an accord. Because for Anyoma to be created, it will need 2/3 of votes from both chambers, talking about the Senate and the reps, constituting the National Assembly. This is difficult to accomplish, according to Trending Explained. That's why the last state creation was 30 years ago in 1996 when Abacha created by decree. Ebonyi, Bayelsa, Nasarawa, Gombe, Zamfara, and Ekiti states. There is also a push for Olu State, Etiti State, Ibadan State, among others. Anyoma is the Igbo-speaking part of Delta State, commonly known as Delta Igbo, accommodating over 190 towns, including Asaba and Abo. According to scholars, Anyoma was coined in 1951 and was to reintegrate Ndegbo, trapped in western region with Ndegbo in the eastern region. Ned Nwoko suggests the creation of this state will bring equity in leadership distribution and would address the long-standing imbalance in the geopolitical distribution of states in Nigeria. There's a video. Let's take a look.
The civil senator Ned Nwoko, he gave me the dress. When I came, I saw the way Delta is dressed. I said, why am I not dressed like that? He told me, no, because we want you to show that you support Anyoma State. I said, oh my God, what a trap. But if that is the only demand from South-South for state creation, then I should be very proud to support it. Your Excellency, the Governor of Delta, if it is affecting Delta, let me tell you how it will be. For Anyoma State, the capital will be in Asaba. And then, for Delta State proper, the capital will be in Warri. So it's not a problem. The President has spoken. Praise the Lord. So I don't think we should be afraid, because the more states we have, the more the development. So assuming it passes through in the various houses or assemblies, it simply means that we will have one additional state. God bless you. And that one additional state definitely will also be good and progressive for the southeastern part of Nigeria. May God bless the proponents in Jesus' name.
The Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Before we have my guest, Adeniyi, jump on this one, let's take a look at what netizens are saying regarding this hashtag Anyoma State. This is Ayomide, who says, it always cracks me up when I see a senator or someone else promising the creation of a new state. If you read the process for state creation in the Constitution, you'll find that it's nearly impossible to achieve. The process is just too difficult. Saifi says it's all to embezzle money, but Saifa says misplaced priorities. Now, Adeniyi, let's talk about, okay, before you jump on it, good governance, he says, what President does Anyoma set for other identity-based demands nationwide? If Nigeria expands states again, should we also rework revenue sharing and legislative seats, or will keep expanding bureaucracy while competition intensifies? Good governance again says, critics aren't wrong to ask. Critics are not wrong to ask. Is this policy or 2027 strategy? Beyond speeches, the Constitution and Delta Assembly votes will decide it. Franklin says the only good thing that will come out of this administration, talking about the creation of the state, which one? Anyoma State, of course. And Franklin goes on to say this one or this will favor the Igbo nation. Azanyi says Akpabio's Senate that is always aligning with the executive. Fast approvals, little pushbacks. Anyoma State's push raises concerns over due process, viability, and politics. His focus should be on hardship and security, urging real consultations, not rhetoric or 2027 optics. Adeniyi, before we talk about the Senate president and how he sounded, right, his body language while he was responding to the creation of Anyoma State, I'd like for you to jump on it. State creation for starters, and Senator Ned Nwoko's push for the creation of Anyoma State. Walk us through this whole process and what you think about
it. When it comes to the Senate, you must network across the party, because it depends on how you'll be able to woo other senators reason with what you are asking for. Even before he left PDP, he has always networked with some of his colleagues, in the Senate. And if you look at it, in fairness to the geopolitical zone, South-South, so to Southeast rather, that he felt that creation of Anioma State will make people to have a sense of belonging, especially in that extraction. So that is why he's been pushing. He has had so many forum with the obese, the kings, uh, the traditional rulers, the business leaders across that place, that this will give us a sense of belonging and bring more development. And you can see in the body language of Senate President, who said that who acknowledge what Senator Ned Nwoko has been doing, that state creation will bring sense of belonging and will bring more development. And you can see, just like I said, he's not just stopped, he did not just, relate with only the people at the Senate. He has taken the campaign even to the House of Rep, to some meetings, just to show that state creation, especially Anioma State, will give them a sense of belonging, will give them a kind of fast development that they crave for. And he's progressive when it comes to the issue of national development. And just like we mentioned, his name that has been pushing for reparation and some of compensation. So anything that has to do with the development, anything that has to do with Nigeria having sense of belonging, so that they can enjoy dividend of democracy, you will always find Senator Ned Nwoko. And I think it's a good one. And I hope that it will happen in this 10th assembly.
I've spoken so glowingly about Senator Ned Nwoko, but it looks like because of his marital crisis in the past, Nigerians have not really had a feel of what he's doing at the center. But do you think that wind has passed and that this time he's really settled and he's going to be taking the bull by the horn?
No, anyway, in as much I don't want to talk about his
marital crisis, yes.
father, and so I don't want to join it. But that, when it comes to development, I'm sure he was once, he is a Nigerian before he became a father. So anything that has to do with national development, and I'm sure you will know that he established the first sports university in Sub-Sahara, because he felt that anytime we're having Olympics or any event, that's when we gather our sportsmen together a month or 2 months. And that is why there's so much abysmal performance. There's so much nothing to roll me better. We need to have it. So anything that has to do with national development, you will definitely find him there. And doing this is just to show that you can see that not the one that took the microphone. It's just to show that what he has been doing secretly, what he has been doing behind the door, to bring development to Anioma state creation, to bring development to Anioma people, is what is playing out. So it has nothing to do with family. As long as it will bring development, as long as it will bring dividend of democracy, you will always find him there.
All right. That's a safe place to land on that particular one. Let's take a look at the next hashtag that's trending massively online right now. It is hashtag Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu. Remember her? She is the former First Lady of Ondo State and the widow of the late Rotimi Akeredolu SAN. So she says she wants to represent her people at the center. She wants to become a senator, really. And she's actually from Imo State. And netizens are questioning that, okay, now that you married someone from the southwestern part of the nation, how's that going to pan out? But before we take a look at the reactions to her public declaration of wanting to represent her people at the Senate, there's a video. She's speaking. Take a listen.
Imo is home. My roots are not for debate. I'm proudly from Imo State, Owerri Zone, Owerri West local government, and Emabia, my small London. My marriage across the Niger, I do not regret. It gave me a broader experience, but it did not erase my roots. My selfless service as the First Lady of Ondo State enriched my understanding of grassroots politics and enlarged my approach to engaging people across all social strata. If anything, these experiences have prepared me to serve better. My quest for Imo East senatorial seat is a big deal. Remember, I'm a Dowere one. So I'm going back, not just to belong, but to join hands to rebuild Imo State. Home is where you're valued, and I believe you can serve best. Do you agree?
Home is where you are valued, and she says she believes she can serve her people best at home. Netizens are responding. Let's take a look a couple of their responses. Let's take a look at a couple of their responses, and then we'll have Adeniyi jump on this. Stephen Nweme says, if the people of the senatorial zone she's hoping to represent think she's the most qualified person to represent them, I wish her the best. It also depends on what the law says regarding it, given that she's already married to someone outside her state of origin. Theophilus Sunday says, she may have a divided loyalty between her ancestral home, where she seeks to represent, and her marital home. So Adeniyi, this is a story that just dropped and is gaining traction online right now, precisely on X. What's your take?
Yeah, well, in as much as people can aspire to any position they want to attain, or they feel that they are qualified, in as much as I support that 100%, I want to take a few diversion. What I mean by diversion is let it be transparent, not just because she's the wife of former governor, of Ondo State, but because people also they are on ground. And if it's going to be transparent, if the party leadership feel that our contribution at the Senate, we brought so much or meaningful development to our senatorial district, why not? At least we've had our current First Lady of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who was once the upper chamber and had a meaningful contribution. So if she feels that it is time or to serve our people, regardless, just like she said that even married to a man from Southwest and being a first lady of Southwest has given her a broader view about things, and it's going to use that, to as a leverage to bring more development to our people, our origin, that she can never forget our origin. Why not? But in doing that, I think there should be fairness, there should be transparency, and they should be given equal opportunity to contest for the person that will be the flag bearer of the party.
Fantastic. But I'm curious, right? Why did you use the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu as an example? Is it because of the narrative that she's from the southern part of the country, but married to the president who is from the southwestern part of the country? Is that why you made that comparison?
Yeah, definitely there are something they call patterns, especially if during your time you have a track record, you have a record to show that this is what I've done when I find myself in this position. Yes, our First Lady from Delta State got married to a Southwesterner, that's from Southwest, that's the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they served Lagos State. Their time was awesome. And if Also is from the north. We are all Nigerians. It's just when it comes to some kind of politics and they want to divide us, so, along regional or religion line. But if it's about service, anywhere you are, you can serve. About the man, I was in Niger State, just like 3 days ago, and the man said that he's from the east. He went there to serve, and he has so much investment since the day he went there to serve. He just find Niger State as a home. So we are all Nigerians, and I think that's the spirit we should emulate. But what I'm concerned is that give a level playing ground or field for those who want to contest or those who want to vie for that position, not because she was once a first lady. If they feel that she can bring dividend of democracy, just like one of the respondents said, that if people feel that she can serve them better, why not? If somebody have done it before, and I think she can as well do it at the same time.
That's a beautiful, contribution to that. But before we wrap up this hashtag, I still want us to talk about the First Lady a little bit. You clarified really that she's from Delta State, but she served Lagos at the center. And that buttresses the fact, the one you talked about, that we are all Nigerians and that we shouldn't be divided, at the joints of tribal and religious, differences. And I think that's a very germane contribution to make. So I thank you for making it. Let's quickly talk about another woman who is flying at the highest level right now. I'm talking about the Archbishop of Canterbury. For the first time in 1,400 years, a woman is going to be leading the biggest church in England. We have that. So let's take a look at the very first post. There's a video to accompany it, but there's a post. Let's take a look at the post first. It is #Archbishop of Canterbury. So CBS News says in a historic installation on Wednesday, the Church of England recognized its first ever female Archbishop of Canterbury, Sarah Mullally. Prince William and Kate Middleton, a prince and princess of Wales, were in attendance. The Church of England first began allowing female bishops in 2014. So, we have a video. Take a look.
I solemnly commit myself before you to the service of the Church of England, the Anglican Communion, and the whole Church of Christ throughout the world, that together we may proclaim the gospel of Christ, who reconciles us to God and breaks down the walls that divide us.
Let us greet our newly installed Archbishop.
Adeni, this is history in the making. I would like for you to talk about this before we take a look at what netizens are saying. And of course, I'll have you respond to their responses. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Yes, it's a good one. Like they usually say, the popular saying that what man can do, woman can do better. Mm-hmm. And that for in a long time, or a woman will lead the Church of England, for the first time, as it were. So it is a good one. And women, they are good managers. Women, they can nurture. Women, they have that empathy, the way they will look at things. And that is why you will see that there's going to be a bit different from because the way we.
Are you there? Are you there, Ani? Are you there? It looks like Adeni is off for a moment, but we'll work hard to bring him back. But there are responses. Netizens are responding to this. Let's quickly take a look at their responses before we reconnect with Adeni. Sally She, her says. You know what? When someone says it's a she, her, you know what it means, right? Well, Sally says, how fabulous progress, men and women working together in the top jobs, callings, roles is what the world needs for a broad perspective. And Dragon says, end of times, blasphemy, and heresy. So this is how it is. It's a debate right now, for and against. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Adeni jump on this and tell us what he thinks about, the responses to this hashtag, and of course, to give us his concluding thoughts on it. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, it's your girl Larry Kel the Dimples, aka Risky Baby, and you are watching VOP TV. Do not go anywhere. Where are you going to? Stay here. Calm down. Stay here if you're not.
What's up, everybody? Who's Arco here, and I'm hanging out on VOP TV. Keep it locked, don't go nowhere. Let's go.
Hi everyone, my name is Yvonne Jagade. You are watching VOP TV, and don't change the dial, because I said so.
Who's happy to post? I mean, who's happy the most? Because when shit goes south, y'all be happy to ghost. When you make a wrong move, they be happy to roast. But be careful when you win, who's not happy to toast. I am VJ Adams, and you rock with VOP TV. Don't move.
Hi, people. Bisola here, and you are watching VOP TV. Mwah.
Shout out to VOP TV. It's so good to have you on the red carpet of AV. Love you all. Wishing you all the best.
Here's a shout out to VOP TV. It's your girl April Oshidikwe at the AV premiere. You know what it is. Hi everyone.
Welcome back, guys. It is hashtag right here on VOP TV. I am Vivian Oguche, and of course, I've been speaking with Adeniyi Fetayo. He is the publisher, Megastar Magazine. Unfortunately, we lost him, we lost connection with him, and we've not been able to regain connection. We'll work to bring him back some other time so we can continue to trash out hashtags. We'll quickly take a look at the last one before we go. I think I have a couple of minutes to do that, so we'll be pacey this time around. It is hashtag Patrice Motsepe. He is the AFCON CAF boss. Yes, he is the CAF boss, and he's under fire right now. The Africa Report says a disputed AFCON decision has spilled into politics, placing CAF boss Patrice Motsepe under pressure at home while reviving Pretoria's long-running tensions with Morocco over Western Sahara. So it looks like it's not just Senegal that's got Bege with Morocco, pardon my grammar. South Africa too is not happy with Morocco, and now they're not even happy with their own son, Patrice Motsepe. And there is so many allegations now, coming out of the dark regarding him and his leadership style. Well, this is what Winner says. Winner says Motsepe had stained himself with this decision by CAF, and he may have lost credibility. He may not serve long as CAF president with this debacle. And then Gag for Real says, since CAF started their immoral hosting romance with Morocco, they've become Morocco's puppet. Senegal won AFCON 2025 because Morocco lost despite wanting it at all costs. They refused to host AFCON in March to please them. CAF made them the AFCON 2025 winner in March just to host. And then Gag for Real put up a headstone just take a look at the next picture. It looks like they've buried AFCON once and for all. Take a look at the next picture. Yeah, that's according to Gags. Gags says AFCON, date of birth, February 1957, date of death, March 2026. Cause of death, CAF and Morocco. This is mind-boggling, I can tell you. But that is how this matter is raging online at the moment. It has refused to die. This is one of the longest running hashtags. And of course, we will continue to keep you posted as events unfold. This is where I get to say thank you to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. Thank you to my guest, Adeniyi Fetayo in absentia. I'm sure it's this thing about technology. I mean, sometimes it just goes on and off. Thank you so much. Adeniyi, of course, is the publisher of Megastar Magazine. Also to everybody who contributed to making the show a success, thank you. A bigger thanks goes to you for watching. If you liked it, keep a date again with us for another edition of Hashtag. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche. Bye for now.
Behind every broken debt lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Hey guys, it's your girl Arika the Dimples, aka Risky Baby, and you are watching VOP TV. Do not go anywhere. Where are you going to? Stay here. Calm down. Stay here if you're not.
What's up, everybody? Who's Arco here, and I'm hanging out on VOP TV. Keep it locked, don't go nowhere. Let's go.
Hi everyone, my name is Yvonne Jagade. You are watching VOP TV, and don't change the dial, because I said so.
Who's happy to post? I mean, who's happy the most? Because when shit goes south, y'all be happy to ghost. When you make a wrong move, they be happy to roast. But be careful when you win, who's not happy to toast. I am VJ Adams, and you rock with VOP TV. Don't move.
Hi, people. Bisola here, and you are watching VOP TV. Mwah.
Shout out to VOP TV. It's so good to have you on the red carpet of AV. Love you all. Wishing you all the best.
Here's a shout out to VOP TV. It's your girl April Oshidikwe at the Evi premiere. You know what it is.
Hi everyone, my name is Linda Ejiofor Suleiman, and I'm live at the EV premiere. Keep watching VOP TV.
I want to say hello to my Italian friends. I want to say them that Nigeria is the best country in the world, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, my name is Tomo Atsebe. I'm an actor, and you guys are live on VOP TV. Keep it locked, because I said so.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your girl Phil Storms out here, and this is a big shout out to VOP TV.
Hi guys, my name is Charles Bourne.
My name is Lydia Lawrence Nze.
Please keep watching Voice of the People Television. Love ya.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news, we analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
The Oluwo Fish Market, also known as the Ekpe Fish Market, is the biggest fish market in Lagos State. It's located in Ekpe, Lagos State, Nigeria. The Oluwo fish market traders are mostly women because of the chain of distribution, which allows the fishermen to catch the fish and deliver them to the traders, who in turn sell them to the retailers. This strategically located fish market is the biggest in Lagos and reported to be as old as the city of Ekpe, even though the date of the official commissioning of the market is dated 10th November 1989. The name of the market is derived from the name of the family that sold the land it occupies to the state government, the Oluwo family, while chief that most locals call it is the traditional title of the Oluwos. The market is said to have been initially located at the marina front, a short distance from the present abode, before it became too small to accommodate the number of traders' influx. For anyone that have heard of the Ekpe town being referred to as the fish basket of the state, the root of the name lies in the significance of this fish market as a major producer and exporter of fish to various parts of its parent state, Lagos, and Nigeria at large. The category of most food items sold at the market makes it fall into the category of wet market. Fish, as well as wildlife, typically known as bushmeat, are common sights at the Oluwo fish market. The animals are rather brought in alive or dead and are also sold in the best form that the buyers prefers. However, the COVID-19 virus outbreak created another dimension to the existence of Oluwo fish market in Lagos, as there are high concerns about wet markets being the hotspot for zoonotic diseases that causes virus like COVID-19. This led to the brief closure of the fish market by the Lagos State Ministry of Health in order to reduce the possibility of another zoonotic disease outbreak in the state. In 2021, the federal government of Nigeria started the rehabilitation of the Ekpe fish market to meet international standard. The improvement of the market was designed to meet international standards, improve earnings, and encourage commercial activities.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. Is born. Voice of the People Television. VOP TV. Youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Nenna Ndomdioto. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Here are the headlines. INEC court orders arrest of factional PDP chair, Turaki.
Also, court discharges former aviation minister Odua of 2.5 billion naira fraud.
INEC rolls out voter education manuals to fight apathy.
APC to host 8,453 delegates at 8th Convention.
Inspector General of Police presents State Police blueprints to Deputy Senate President.
Also, Atiku slams AGF over OPL 245 remarks.
On the foreign scene, Israel kills Iranian commander over Hamas tensions.
Well, in business news, CBN unveils 2026 monetary policy agenda.
In sport, it will be nominated for March Premier League POTM.
And in the world of entertainment, Show Your Style singer Savi shot dead in Lagos.
Now the news and details. An FCT High Court has ordered the arrest of a factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Kabiru Turaki. Justice UP Kekemeke issued the order after Turaki failed to appear in court in a case filed by the Inspector General of Police. The judge ruled that there was no justification for his absence. Turaki is facing a charge of allegedly providing false information to the police in a 2022 petition.
Also, an Abuja High Court has discharged a former aviation minister, Stella Odua, and her aide, Gloria Odita, of over a 2.5 billion naira fraud charge. Justice Hamza Mwazu ordered their discharge after the prosecution withdrew the case following a plea bargain. However, an amended charge has been filed against two firms linked to the former minister. Odua was arraigned in December 2025 alongside Odita by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation on a 5-count charge bordering on alleged fraud, obtained by false pretense and criminal breach of trust.
Moving on, a defense witness in the all-war church attack trial told the Federal High Court in Abuja that he was tortured while in DSS custody. Jamiu Abdul Malik said he was arrested in August after 2022 at a checkpoint while traveling from Ondo to Kogi State. He alleged DSS operatives masked in black searched passengers, identified him through his phone and subjected him to inhumane treatment, including water being poured on his face, pressuring him to confess to crimes he denied. Abdul Malik said operatives tried to link him to alleged terrorist activities in his community and showed him a list of local names. Justice Emeka Nwite adjourned the trial to April 1 and 2 for the continuation of the defense.
Away from legal matters, Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to protecting human rights and integrating them into security operations. He spoke in Abuja at the opening of the 2026 High-Level International Humanitarian Law Dialogue, emphasizing adherence to international humanitarian law in all conflict zones. Shettima noted President Tinubu recently domesticated the African Union Kampala Convention to strengthen legal protections for internally displaced persons in Nigeria. He added that the dialogue comes at a critical time when human rights and the rule of law face mounting challenges. Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi highlighted government's efforts to implement humanitarian law treaties, including new laws and investments in correctional facilities to ensure humane treatment, and rehabilitation. Solicitor General Beatrice Jedi-Agba said the dialogue also offers the judiciary a platform to uphold the rule of law within Nigeria's security framework.
The federal government and the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa have called for stronger collaboration to curb money laundering, terrorism financing, and related crimes in the sub-region. Officials, including Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi, Information Minister Mohammed Idris, ICPC Chairman Musa Aliyu, and NFRU Director Hajia Hafsat Bakari highlighted Nigeria's ongoing effort. GIABA Director General Edwin Harris outlined the agency's work across West Africa, emphasizing cooperation with media and stakeholders. Speaking at a media workshop in Abuja, Fagbemi said these crimes threaten Nigeria's economic stability and citizen safety. ICPC Chairman Aliyu added that money laundering and terrorism financing remain serious threats to national security, economic systems, and democratic institutions.
Well, in another development, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has launched updated voter education manuals to tackle apathy ahead of the 2027 elections. The initiative, in partnership with national and international organizations, include the revised National Voter Education Manual and a youth-focused civic and voter education manual. Mohammed Haruna, INEC's Information Voter Education Committee Chairman, highlighted the drop in voter turnout from over 60% in 2003 to below 30% in recent polls, blaming low motivation and poor voter education. National Commissioner Joasha Mupita warned that voter apathy remains a major threat to Nigeria's democracy.
Meanwhile, Nigerian journalists have been urged to uphold professionalism, safety, and ethical standards ahead of the next election cycle. The call was made at a media lecture in Lagos, highlighting the role of the press in safeguarding democracy. Our correspondent reports.
No Press Week lecture as Nigeria approaches another election cycle. Journalists have been urged to prioritize safety, professionalism, and ethical conduct amid rising political tensions and misinformation. The call came at the 2025 Annual Press Week lecture organized by the Lagos State Governor's Office correspondent in Ikeja. Lagos State Commissioner for Information Benga Omotosho described the election as a critical democratic process often misunderstood by citizens. He stressed the need for responsible reporting to promote unity and peaceful participation.
In Nigeria, elections are very, very serious matters. In fact, some other people who do not see it as a game of wit, as a game of sense, as a game of numbers, they see it as war. But for us as journalists, we see it as a tool for progress, not an end in itself, but a means to an end that is a better society, a more inclusive society, a more progressive society. You criticize not to make the roof fall on all of us, but to ensure that we all make progress. Because when there is progress in the society, our noble profession of journalism will also make progress.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists also emphasized the importance of truth, fairness, and balance in election coverage. In a keynote lecture, media expert Taiwo Lokade warned about the risk of misinformation in digital age and urged journalists to verify information through official channels.
It is also when there is peace that we can also practice the profession the way it's supposed to be. But if we are being carried away by, oh, I want to quickly break the news, I want to quickly hit the headline, not considering the consequence of our report, particularly if the report is also not balanced, if it is one-sided, that can also lead to chaos or the breakdown of law and order. Don't say because PDP is speaking evil of Tinubu or APC is speaking evil of Atiku, and you want to quickly go to press, go to your station to quickly file in the report, and people are immediately reacting to your report. Of course, God forbid, you're also not safe. Because when people are reacting to your report in a violent way, then that means your own business is also at risk.
He also advised journalists to prioritize their safety while carrying out their duties. The event brought together media professionals and stakeholders to reinforce ethical journalism as a key to safeguarding Nigeria's democracy. From Alausa Ikeja, I'm Onika Ogolo reporting for VOP TV.
Onyeka, thank you. While in politics, the All Progressives Congress says 8,453 delegates will attend its 2026 8th National Convention in Abuja from Friday, March 27 to Saturday, March 28. The event will bring together representatives from all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to elect new executives, review policies, and chart the party's future direction. At a briefing in Abuja, Minister of Information Mohammed Idris said the theme, Unity in Progress, consolidating the renewed hope agenda, reflects APC's commitment to cohesion and continuity. He added that all arrangements, including logistics and security, have been finalized to ensure a smooth and transparent convention. Convention Committee Chairman Aminu Bello Masari assured that leadership positions are zoned to promote fairness and that the party is ready to showcase internal democracy and transparency.
Away from political matters, the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has submitted a framework for the establishment of state police to the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barrow Jibrin, as part of efforts to decentralize policing in Nigeria. The 75-page report titled A Comprehensive Framework for the Establishment, Governance, and Coordination of Federal and State Police was presented by Olu Ogunshaki, Chairman of the Nigeria Police Force Committee, examining the modalities for state police. DISO said the framework reflects professional insights and strategic recommendations from extensive consultations covering operational, legal, and administrative considerations. The IGP forwarded the report to the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution as the police force's official input on the matter. Senator Jibrin commended the IGP and assured that the committee will review the framework along with other submissions. The report is expected to guide the proposed operation, governance, and coordination of state police, marking a major step in discussions on restructuring Nigeria's policing system.
In the meantime, the newly appointed Commissioner of Police, Fatai Tijani, here in Lagos, has pledged reforms to boost public safety, accountability, and community engagement. Speaking at the command headquarters in Ikeja, Tijani outlined a vision for modern policing that combines professionalism, technology, and strong community partnerships. He described Lagos policing as complex, requiring innovative solutions, and stressed that public safety is key to societal progress. Tijani highlighted the use of technology for intelligence gathering and crime prevention, and called for collaboration with other security agencies. He urged residents to see the police as partners in maintaining peace, promising officers will uphold discipline, integrity, and human rights. On accountability, Tijani warned against misconduct, including brutality, and announced plans to improve training, welfare, and capacity building. He encouraged the public to report complaints through official channels, assuring prompt response.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi over his comment on the OPL 245 dispute. Presidency recently announced a settlement with Eni and Nigerian Ajib, which Fagbemi hailed as a milestone for Nigeria's economy. Abubakar dismissed it as political theatrics, saying the matter is far from resolved and key stakeholders were sidelined. Fagbemi called Abubakar's stance misleading, insisting the deal ends a dispute that has lasted nearly 3 decades and accusing critics of self-interest. Abubakar responded, saying no rhetoric can settle the disputed oil contracts, and that Fagbemi's remarks extract from the real legal issues.
Well, joining us virtually to analyze the news hour today is Chijoke Oji. Chijoke is a public affairs analyst. Chijoke, always a pleasure to have you join us. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming aboard. So an FCT High Court has ordered the arrest of a factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Kabiru Turaki. So the judge said that Turaki failed to appear in court in a case filed by the Inspector General of Police. I remember you saying in a conversation we had yesterday that the PDP is gone. Do you think this further cements the fact that the PDP is totally gone, considering the fact that Turaki is one of the factional chairmen of the party?
Well, it's just a reaffirmation of it. And just yesterday again, the same Turaki was actually issued a statement saying that the deliberations and reconciliations, being undertaken by the party members as to reconcile the two factions was ongoing and yielding fruits. So if indeed the same man is shielding his arms and willing to work with the Wike-led factions, and now we are now having this declaration, of him being arrested, it simply means that he never got the real gist of the matter. It's either he misunderstood from the onset the intents of the Wike factions. Like I said yesterday, it was an intention definitely to embarrass most of the people who would be coming back to his own side of the whole matter. Wike has taken charge of the PDP, and the whole idea is to ensure that the party is disseminated and never, come back to be an opposition, a viable opposition anymore. And I think he's achieving that aim. And the people too are also helping him, because you would wonder why people who have gone so far to setting up their own, would still want to come back, just midway. And then you're not having this. I'm wondering what will be the stakes after this now pronunciation of him being arrested or being ordered to be arrested. It's definitely not a good time for anybody who's a flag bearer of the PDP or a member of the PDP, because this was the same thing that happened in 2017, where it lost a lot of credible members due to this internal fracas of people, factions here and there, and it has never ended. So I do not see the PDP ever, rebounding back to its full glory, because this would further even encourage those who are still left to, to abandon the ship. And it's such a pity that the party would go this same way or the same route. So it's really a pity.
Okay, let's look at another thing happening in our High Court, or in our courts today. The High Court has discharged former Aviation Minister Stella Udua and her aide, Gloria Odita, over a 2.5 billion naira fraud charge. There's been a back and forth over this Stella Udua's case, and now she has been acquitted and discharged. I don't know what you make of this.
Very sad. It's a very sad moment for a Nigerian, be it home and abroad. This same thing continue to show that there are more people that are more equal before the law and above the law. Why is it that it's always when certain politicians, are found ever culpable, there's always a way to wriggle them out. The same thing happened, I think the first time we had this in the current dispensation of democracy was with the former Edo State governor, in the person of then Lucky Benedium, who was given the pat on the back with the so-called plea bargain. And the people of the state have never recovered